Lovely. How are you guys doing? Hope you're doing good. Can you even see my face? Now you can. So I have this wonderful luth guitar, which is like a crossover between a luth, traditional, I think Baroque instrument or something, I don't know, and a nylon string classical guitar. So you can see it has this weird body shapes, but it still has 6 strings, or usually it has when one isn't broken. And it has a regular, like a classical headstock. Lucille is here, awesome! Australia, how you doing, man? From down under. So what I'm going to do today is remove the strings, and then I'm going to actually try to crown these frets. I have several guitars that do need some maintenance in terms of crowning, because I've just done quick fret leveling on them and leaving the frets kind of square, which isn't the best thing if you want the optimal tone, playability and intonation. So I'm going to start with this guitar to get a little bit more serious about crowning, so basically making those frets round again. Oh cool, you got your exams done today, awesome, but that means you have to follow Australian time, right? Or do you do the exams from home as well? You told me you were still in summertime savings. Anyhow, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it with this specific fret crowning file because it feels a little bit too wide for these thin frets. So we'll see how that works out. Anyhow, I'm going to try and we will quickly know the answer to that question. But first of all, let's just remove these strings. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose the easy way. Ouch! 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 So no more strings on this one. Time is a construct. I like it. I like it. Well, I need to follow the Swedish times because my kids go to school here, and if I started telling them that time is a construct, I would get issues. So, quick job. The strings are almost already gone. I think I'm just going to throw them on the floor so we get them out of the frame here. Oh, that one's still attached, of course, to the headstock. So here we go. Okay, I'm just going to turn on some additional light here so I can show you. Okay, so here you can see some frets, and some of the higher frets have darker spots on them, and that's because I've used a marker pen right before fret leveling them, so I could see how much was taken off. And I will probably do the same thing today as I recrown them. I'm going to mark them with this pen so I can see how much of the fret I'm shaving off with my file. We got Dave Mustaine here! Very happy to be here because I missed a lot of lives. Very happy to have you here, man. So let's see now. What are we gonna do? I'm just gonna feel the frets now. I know that it's around the 12th fret here where I fret level them down, and the frets are actually not round at all. They're actually pretty far up, all the way up, so I would need to do it all over the place. Whew, I hope I won't mess it up. Okay, so I have these that I've barely used. I'm going to show you what they are. They're basically offering some protection to these frets. Let me show you. So I'll be putting these on the guitar around the frets. And this is going to protect the fretboard from my filing, and that's probably needed because I'm an amateur and I guarantee you I will screw things up. But as always, I use my guitar for work, so I'm not that concerned about if I should do a little mistake here and there, and maybe that's going to diminish the value of the guitar. That would be a bad thing, but it wouldn't be the end of the world, because as long as I can use it for my social media work, even if a fret looks a little bit silly, as long as it's playable, I'm fine with that. I have to consider that this does save me a bit of time and money to avoid having to go to a luthier. So I usually, whenever I try something new, I try it on one of my guitars that isn't the most important one. And so far it's worked out really well. I did the scallop on one of my guitars, and I was 100% sure that I would ruin it. That was my first do-it-yourself scallop I did 15 years ago. And that guitar turned out to be one of my best guitars. So I got a huge confidence boost, and I told myself, well, maybe I can be a little home luthier after all. This does simplify things when you have many guitars, if you can do some luthering. So why do filing frets down matter so much? I'm sorry, Fook, I won't play that much. I will play when all the work is done, but you're gonna have to come back in an hour or so. So you won't get any playing in a while, because that's not really what this video is about. So that's a good question. Why does fret filing matter? And the reason it matters is, first of all, fret leveling helps you lower the action of the strings. And with low action on the strings, playing gets easier. And if playing gets easier, you'll have a much more productive time playing. Oops. Okay, so this is a problem. The elastic wires are all screwed up. So do I have any? No, I don't. So this elastic stuff is too old and broken, so I can't attach this fret protection with it. Let's see if I can find some here. This is also a no-no. Do not use your guitar as a cupboard, which is exactly what I'm doing now. If you're doing professional work on someone else's guitar, the last thing you want to do is use the guitar to put stuff on. So do not follow my kids. Do as I say, not as I do. This is very bad practice. But would you believe it? I actually found some, what are those called in English? Gummisnodd in Swedish. You will, when you finish, you will play Watch Him Become a God. I like it. Watch people's heads are roll, just like the Pied Piper, let rats do. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put one of these on for each fret that I'm working on. But before I do that, I'm actually going to color the fret with this marker pen. And I'm going to do it with all the frets that need crowning. So that's pretty much all of them. Okay? I'm going to try to be careful not to... Can you see the dark fret there? I'm going to do this carefully now on all the frets which I'll be working on. So basically all the frets that are flat and need recrowning. And again, what this is going to do, it's going to basically help me to see how much of the frets I've filed off. So it basically gives me a little bit more control and understanding. You could think of it this way: if you're cooking something, baking something, or I don't know, doing some sauce or whatever, when you put the ingredients in, it's a good idea to constantly kind of taste what you're doing, because not only are you checking that the end product is going to be tasty, but also you're learning what each thing does to the recipe, right? And it's a little bit the same thing here. If I add this color, it's basically going to help me understand how much of the fret I'm taking off as I'm working with it. If I don't do this, it's going to be a little bit more like I'm, fumbling in the dark. I won't see necessarily how much effect my fret filing has. 1 to infinity. Okay, man. So now you can see I've put on, I don't know if you can see the black here. I think you can, right? You can't see it that well, but I promise you it's there. So now I'm gonna put one of these on. It's gonna protect the fretboard. And these are cheap. I got them from the web store Thomann, but this is nothing fancy. It's just there to protect the frets. And again, since I'm an amateur at this, I need all the help I can get. Chances are I will screw things up either way. Oh, that didn't work very well. Come on. And here's my fret file, and it has two sides to it. And let's see now. This doesn't feel good at all, actually. Oh no, this doesn't even work. Let's take that one off. Okay. I'm actually going to invest in some new support, I think, for doing this work. But that's a story for another day. Let's see now. Okay, this is very interesting. Oh, would you believe it? All the color is gone immediately. So that means this fret actually gets, this one gets the job done. And it also seems that this specific fret was pretty round already. But I'm going to show you very soon how much I removed of the marker pen. Very interesting. So you can see immediately. Can you see how much I removed of the dark stuff? And this is what I spoke about. This gives me control. I can tell that the file has an immediate impact on this round fret. And it also tells me that since I'm using a round file and I immediately got rid of almost all the marker pen, it tells me that this fret is pretty round already, except for the final bit here, which is still dark. So that's the one I need to work on. Oh, rubber band. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Oh, Iron Spider, good question. Did you make it or are you fixing working on it? So I didn't build this. I'm not that good, but I did level the frets when I got it, just to be able to have lower string action. And when I did so, the frets got flat. And because I'm more of a player than a luthier, I didn't entirely finish the job. I just flattened all the frets so I could put on new strings and lower the action, and that worked. But for optimal playability, I would prefer round frets. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm just rounding the frets and basically finishing the fretwork that I started several years ago when I fret leveled the whole fretboard. So I hope that answered the questions. And thanks for tuning in, Iron Spider, by the way. So let's try it some more without the rubber band. I'm not sure this is needed, actually. Can you guys even see this? This is actually very impactful. That was much faster than I had anticipated, but it really works. I got rid of all the marking pen now. So I did the first frets in just a matter of, well, I don't know how many seconds I was filing, 30 seconds. So it seems I didn't have to do much filing at all. This is awesome. It's going to be a quick job, I think. Let's see if I encounter some problems further down the road. I'm already working on the second fret now, which is pretty much the 10th fret. And again, I'm checking the color now as I'm filing, and I can see that again lots of the black marking pen color is already gone, which tells me the fret is pretty round, or that this fret file is working super quickly. I can't really tell which one because again, I'm not very good at this, but it seems good to me. It seems it's getting round. This is actually fun. I need to get better tools for this job, and as I get better tools and more experience, I'm actually going to do this on some of my more high-end electric guitars. Again, this guitar is not really critical if I get a bad fret. I mean, it's not good, but it's not the end of the world for me. And if I can get this experience on this guitar, and I can actually start doing it on my electric guitars, then that has a high value for me, because I use those as tools in my daily work. And I have many electric guitars that need maintenance, and I really don't want to take them all to the luthier if I can avoid that. I'd much rather gain control myself, because I actually have a long-term goal to actually start assembling my own guitars, and maybe further down the road actually start building my guitars. I could see myself doing that as I get older. Dinas, some have metal part in the middle. What is that? What are you referring to, Dinas? So a tool that has metal part in the middle? It does look maybe a little bit like a banjo. Lucia, the marker is to see how far he died the frets down. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Muhammad, what's up, my man? The box. I don't understand the box. Can someone explain what Dinas is asking about? I'll be more than happy to answer. This is working out much faster than anticipated. I can see the frets are really round. I'm going to use this rubber tool for the final polishing, but I didn't think it would be this fast. This is awesome. So effective. I'm really looking forward to playing this guitar when we're done. I'm just going to put on new strings and then we'll be jamming on it. And something tells me that playability is going to be awesome when this is done. Now, of course, the challenge is to not go too far down with the file, because if I do that and one of the frets get lower than the others, then I'm going to have to redo the fret leveling, and then I'm going to have to redo this crowning. So I really have to be careful and not do too much now. If I do that, again, I'm going to have to rework everything, because you can't build a fret up once you've filed it down. Then you either need to replace it or you need to take all the other ones down, which I don't have the skill, or replace is something I don't have the skills for. I can do more fret leveling, but at the end I won't have any frets left if I keep doing that. I won't have any fret wire left, so I will have to fix all of them. But again, the black color I added with a marker pen really helps me so that I don't take away too much of the fret. I know that as soon as the black color is gone, I should pretty much stop. Because that means I have covered the entire fret wire. This is not an oud Neptune, this is a luth guitar, so it's a crossover between a classical guitar and the luth. Oh, the thing to have the protect the fretboard. Okay, yes. So this thing is, I put that around each fret that I'm working on to protect the wood on the fretboard, so I don't accidentally scratch it up. Again, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It's just unnecessary to create some ugliness when I can actually do it without creating ugliness. There's a better way, basically. Great, so if you weren't here from the beginning of the stream, before I started this, I painted all the frets that I would be working on with a black marker pen. And that gives me control, because then I can see how much of the fret I've filed down. And this proved to be very useful because progress was much faster than anticipated. So I only need to work for a few seconds on each fret, or for most part. And I can tell that by just looking at how much of the black marker color is left on the fret. I know that when all the black is gone, I need to stop filing, or I will make the fret too low. And that's a dangerous situation to be in, again, because if I'm unlucky, I'm going to have to redo all the fret leveling. If one fret is lower than all the others, that's a big problem. If one fret is higher than all the others, it's not an issue, because you can just lower that fret. But if one fret is lower than all the others, then you basically need to take all the others down, or you need to replace the fret wire. And I really want to avoid that. Okay, this one is good. Actually, a little bit left here, but I'll keep it. I'd rather leave, again, a little bit too much fret wire rather than to remove too much. Neptunes, this does not have a different tuning, no. Or you can if you want to, but I just tune it as a guitar and play it as a guitar, and it sounds almost like a guitar, but it looks awesome. Good morning. Looks like a mandolin body, but this is a luth guitar. Exactly, Mohammed. If it's not easy, if you do one mistake and you do need to install a new fret, that's true. Self-surgeon, ouchie. Keith King, what's up? So yes, it's easy to mess this up, and who knows, maybe I will. Maybe I'll put some new strings on and it's gonna buzz all over the place, and then I've done a fool out of myself. So it's super important to have that black marker color so that I'm not removing too much. I hope I haven't. I'm a little bit scared, to be honest with you. Again, I'm doing it on a guitar that isn't my main guitar, and this isn't an insanely expensive guitar or anything like that either. I mean, it's not the cheapest one, but it's not critical for me in any way. I'm almost done now. This was so much faster than I had anticipated. Okay, scary. So I have a few frets on top here, which also need a little bit of love. But let's face it, with this guitar you have zero reach up here. So beyond fret 13, 14, there's really no point in doing anything. Just make sure they're not in the way. So that's why sometimes you can leave a slope at the end. It's called something which I can't remember. It's a technique you use sometimes to get really low string action, where the upper frets you take away a little bit more of them. I don't know what is the correct fretboard. Oh, fretboard gap between strings. Oh, it's usually like between 1.1 millimeter on the high E string and 1.5, at least on the electric guitar. Maybe it's a bit more on the acoustic guitar. Keith is from Indiana. Awesome, man. You can play guitar and repair too. I'm not sure I can repair. I could actually mess this up, but yeah, I've done a few fixes on guitars, and I haven't so far messed up an instrument. Considering that I've never done any, I'm not schooled or trained in any way, I'm kind of surprised I haven't screwed up a guitar yet. But maybe it'll happen this time. Maybe I'm turning this guitar into unplayable now. Let's hope not. So again, I'm keeping a close look now on the black marking. If all the black is gone, I need to stop, preferably a little bit before, just to make sure I'm not filing it down too much. If I do that, it's much harder to correct. I wouldn't say irreversible, but it can be expensive, because you're going to have to get a new fret, or you're going to have to, again, level the entire guitar again. So that means removing from all the other frets, which I really want to avoid if I can. Okay, We're good with that one. Now this is the last fret I think I'll be doing. After that, I'll just be doing some final polishing, and then we can put on some new strings and we can actually play this thing and see if I messed it up. I hope not. But then of course a little bit of an issue here is that I haven't played this guitar for 1 or 2 years. So it is possible the neck has moved a little bit, which makes me think that maybe I should have restrung the guitar first and just check the guitar. But again, time is a factor here, and one string was broken, so I thought I'll just do slight fret leveling before I put on new strings. Okay, so we're done now. NC Tyrant, what's up, my man? So now I'm gonna use another tool, this one, and I'm gonna do some slight polishing just to make sure that the fret is smooth. This is like when you do, if you're working with wood and you use really fine sandpaper at the end, right? It doesn't really remove much material, it just polishes the surface to make sure it shines, and also bending and stuff like that is a little bit easier if you do this final polishing and it's really, how should I say, glossy and slippery. That's how you want it. Looks really good to me now. I'm gonna show you a close-up when I'm done, and I think I'll be done in just 2 or 3 minutes, maybe. Looking really good here, actually. It's looking so good. It's almost like, by the looks of it, you wouldn't believe this is a do-it-yourself. But maybe when I restring the guitar and try to play it, it'll be a different story. But if it plays as good as it looks now, I've done a good job. Because the frets do look round now. They don't have that flat surface. Some have a little bit, but that's because I was cautious not to overdo the filing. And I think that will prove to be a good strategy, hopefully. Again, one single fret can really, if you mess up one fret, you can land yourself in a much worse place you were than when you started out. So, yes. You've got to be careful with this stuff. And again, I would need a movable support for the neck. I think that's something I'm going to invest in. You can get them for cheap, like $10. I've seen them on the, on the web, and this would help me constantly have a good angle. Right now, it's kind of the headstock that's taking all the weight now as I'm pushing the neck down. It's not ideal, but I'm trying to push it softly so I won't really, how do you say, unseat the neck or anything like that. This neck does not have a truss rod, so if the neck goes wonky, I'm screwed. There is no truss rod as far as I'm concerned. So that's a bit of an issue with these instruments. You cannot fix a neck that is starting to bend or, Now, usually that shouldn't be an issue. Oh, I can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So fret 4 is still a little bit flat. Well, that can be for next time, but I could actually make this one. I'll just do a quick one here. So what I'm doing here, in case you missed the process, now I put on some new black color from the marker pen, and that allows me to add a little bit of more crowning to this one. Yep. And I can see I'm going with the file and it's still black. And that tells me the fret is not completely round yet. Need to work a little bit more on it. Yep. Come on, fret, get round. all the black color is almost gone now. And of course, the fretboard has a very slight radius as well, so you have to consider that as you're filing to, you know, work at angles. All the black is almost gone now, so I need to be careful not to overdo it. Yeah, okay. And now I'll polish it a little bit more, and hopefully it should be rounder now. Yeah, it does look rounder. I think I did it. I hope I didn't do too much, but now at least it's crowned, it's round, no longer flat. See what you guys are saying? Some people feel the rain, others just get wet. I like it. Yeah, the lost, some good words of wisdom there. Rusty silk, interesting. Paul Vaughn, who do you think makes the best electric guitar craftsmanship? Oh, that's a very tricky question, you know. So many good luthiers out there. North Carolina in the house. I mean, there's a reason I have lots of different brands. I have Fender, I have Gibson, I have Ibanez, LTD, EVH, Vintage. Yeah, so the list goes on. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's very individual, and of course, if you're ready to pay the big bucks for a local luthier, I'm sure you'll get the absolute best work done. But I've never invested in such a guitar. I got to borrow a guitar from a local luthier, and I think that would have been like a $6,000 guitar if I had purchased it. That was a Sergeant Doom guitar. Very cool. I have some videos on it up on my channel here if you search for Sergeant Doom. I uploaded them a couple of years ago, and that was a super shred friendly guitar. I really loved it, but I couldn't really afford spending that kind of money on one single guitar, unfortunately. But I'm happy with my guitars. I've never been looking for like one single dream guitar, because I realized there isn't such a thing. Instead, I always wanted versatility and guitars that would feel different, sound different, and give me different challenges. I think we're done. Oopsie. So I'll just see if I can find cloth just to remove. There's a bit of metal dust from the filing. I think the frets look lovely. Let's see. I can show you. And of course you can see the old strings just... Oh, well, you can see a difference. Wow, can you see a difference now, right? These are the frets I haven't worked on. They still have the black color from the color marker that I used when fret leveling this guitar several years ago. But here you can see the difference, the frets that I've actually worked on. There's a huge difference there. Looks great, right? I hope I didn't overdo it. I hope that when I restring this guitar now, it's gonna feel lovely. Fingers crossed. Can you feel my fret buzz? I have 1997. Let's see. Strat California model, but the three first frets have buzz. Yeah, I mean, that could be a number of things, not necessarily anything requiring an expensive fix. Okay, I think this is lovely. Oh, can't wait to play this guitar. Okay, so let's finish the guitar now. Let's change the strings and let's jam away. Here we have some new strings. And first gotta get rid of the old ones. And here I have a manual string winder. Let's see if we can save some time. I hate this part of it. It's time consuming and not that fun. I did it. First string is off. Thank you. Okay, let's try the second string. Oh, second string doesn't want to come off. That's the B string we're speaking about. Oh, I'm getting good at this. Okay, G string, come off, please. You can do it. I don't know how you say it in English, but in Sweden, there's a saying where you spoon feed your little baby or whatever. It's like, en sked för pappa. It's like 1 spoon for daddy, 1 spoon for mommy. And that's what I feel like telling my guitar right now. Although I'm quite sure it wouldn't have an impact. I'm also kind of sure that I should never charge anyone for this job. You can tell I'm an amateur, but I really want to get this done. Probably if I did this on someone else's guitar, I would have to pay them at the end of the day. So yes, again, I just want to emphasize that what I'm doing here is not something you should do on your guitar just because you've seen me do it. Because you might end up giving your guitar some unnecessary scratches. Of course, some people would argue that that's just a way of relicking your guitar, basically making it look vintage. And you'd be right, probably. But I still want to throw in those words of warning here that I am not very skilled at this. I just need the job done so I can proceed to actually playing my guitars, which is what I prefer doing. I'm not really good at doing what I'm doing now, but I do enjoy the fact that I can do this with you, and then it serves a bit of a higher purpose. Otherwise it just feels like almost wasted time spending all this time not playing and fixing with the guitar. But now we're actually hanging out as well, and that makes me feel good about myself, investing this time into fixing the guitar. Come on, last string, the D string. We're almost done now. Yeah, they're all gone. Thank you. Okay. Whew. Let's insert some new strings. Classic nylon Diodario. The goat is back. I like it. What's up, Easy BCLS? You are from Sweden. You heard of Malmsteen? Oh yes, I've heard of him, and he's actually a pretty big inspiration of mine as I was starting out when I got into shred guitar and all that stuff. So Yngve has been with me, at least in my soul, for the better part of my guitar playing career. And I did have his REH video back in the day, you know, his instructional video, which is kind of bordering not being instructional, to be honest with you, but it's definitely inspirational. And I think many guitarists share this experience with me. I mean, watching his instructional video was just a way back in the days to get a close-up on his playing. It wasn't that instructional, but just to be able to watch his hand closely was helpful. And to me, I never really learned that much from it, but it was certainly inspirational. I did learn much more by actually watching one of my co-instructors, whose name is Marcus Lavendel. And he had Yngve style, or still has Yngve style down. And I met up with him a few times and played with him. And that was very inspirational. I'm just trying to figure out which string I need to take. 6th string silver, okay. I think this is the 6th string. Oh, that was red. And this is black. Okay, thank you. Tammy, It is a beautiful guitar. I can only agree with you, man. Actually, to be honest with you, I bought this one a little bit for the looks. Or I think I had hopes that it would sound more different. But it sounds like a classical guitar. There's nothing super fancy about the sound. And to be honest with you, it's actually super uncomfortable to play. There's a reason why an electric guitar, or why the guitar is shaped the way it is. That's because any other way is super uncomfortable. So this guitar, for that reason, doesn't get played quite as much. But I still like it. I think it's a beautiful guitar to have around. It's like a little piece of art hanging on the wall. And yeah, if I were to buy a new electric guitar or acoustic guitar these days, I wouldn't buy a guitar such as this one. I think I'd go for a steel stringed acoustic guitar. Oh, now you can see an amateur at work for sure. This is amateur stuff, but I think I'll get it done, even though it looks very amateurish. Yep. So I just need the string to kind of lock over itself. If I can get that done, I really don't care what it looks like, although it looks like horrible now. As long as it locks itself, I'm good. I have a tuner conveniently laying around here. Zubi, yeah, it looks like a luth guitar, which is an Arabic guitar, but this is actually a crossover, so it's a luth guitar. It's not a luth. Yeah, and there's one look. There's also like an oud, right? O-U-D. That's another Arabic instrument. Okay, we're good, thank you. So let's check out the G string now. Is green. Is this a green string? Yeah. Again, the color marking is pretty poor on this thing, but we're getting there. So I think I'm doing it in a bit of a weird order now, but that's okay. How am I going to do this? Oh. So you can see the mess I'm doing here. This guitar, I got it from the web store Thomann. I don't think this guitar has any real culture or little cultural origins. This is just a modern production guitar where we're basically mixing a Western style guitar with a traditional luth. That's what it is. So it's just someone came up with this concept to make some money. I think that's the truth behind it. I don't mind though. I like it. It's a cool guitar. Oops, and I don't have... I think I used a little bit too much of the string to attach it, because I feel it doesn't have... I don't have a lot to work with up here now. And again, I take no responsibility for teaching you how to restring the guitar. What you're seeing now is a true amateur at work. I just need to get this freaking thing up so I can play it. And even though what I'm doing looks kind of silly, it usually does result in new strings being attached to the instrument, and eventually I can play it. And that's my only end goal. I do not claim to know about the best way of attaching strings. because clearly you can see that this is not a professional luthier at work. Doesn't matter. I'll be able to play this thing if I don't completely mess up. Ouchie. Have I messed up? Doesn't sound too good right now. Looks okay here. There is some buzz going on somewhere here. Bear in mind, I haven't touched anything that should affect the open string right now. Sounds okay. I mean, if I were to get an unnatural amount of buzz up here, then that could be a result of me messing up the fret crowning, but sounds pretty good. It's good. No buzzing at all, but the open string, it's okay, but it's not really ideal. We'll deal with that later. Okay, so I did not swear. I don't think I did. Okay, so A string is red. That's this one, great. So that was promising. As you could hear, I did a quick test and we had absolutely no buzzing from the G string except for the open string. So that's a little bit interesting because again, nothing I've done now should affect the open string. That's why I was quick to test, any of the frets and play them, and we had absolutely no buzzing. So at least I haven't messed up the G string. But of course, we don't know for sure until I've tried all strings. Okay. So I'm just doing quick, what we call in Swedish, kärringknut, like a simple knot. Here, and that allows the string to lock onto itself, but it looks really ugly. Again, we don't care about look here. It's rock and roll, right? If the strings look ugly, that's just cool. G sharp, A. Yep, we'll go beyond A so that the string can stretch out a little bit. Yeah, B flat, that'll do. Okay, we're getting better now. No buzz on the A string either. Let's try the E string. Okay, maybe not ideal up here, but that could be for other reasons. It's okay, still ringing out decently. I also did lower the string action quite a bit, and I did that several years ago by filing down the nut here, I guess that's what it's called, right? Or is this the nut, or is it? No, the nut. Am I confusing things now? However, what's this called? Please remind me. I did file this one down on the other side just to get them down. Yeah, I like the wood finish as well. Looks beautiful. Okay, so anyhow, we're getting closer by the minute. Now we have the B string here. Let me just check the color code. Purple, is this purple? Man, they didn't do a good job with the colors at all. I mean, this is almost impossible to see what color this is. Diodario, bad on you, but this should be purple. And the other one, yeah, it must be purple because the yellow one is the high E string. So let's do the B string now. Of course, one could argue that I did not do this in the right order, and you'd be totally right, but I still think I'll be able to pull it off. Fingers crossed. Again, I'm doing a little knot here. I'm sure if there's a real luthier out there watching this, he or she is laughing his or her ass off now, but we don't mind. We're players here. We just need to get this guitar up to standard, new strings, and we can play and just ignore how amateurish this looks like. And I think we're keeping up a decent pace now, unless I messed up this B string. We only have 2 strings left, and then we'll finally be able to give this guitar a test run and see if my new fret crowning was effective. I have a good feeling about it now, just from the strings we've tested so far. They felt pretty buzz-free. Again, the low E string was a little bit tight sounding, a little bit, but that's usually the case with the low E string. That could be the angle of the nut or whatever it's called. Oh, the bridge, of course. Yeah, it could be the way I fell down the bridge. I've tried to do it at an angle so that the bridge would so that the low E string would be a little bit higher up than the thin E string, but it could be that that angle was not steep enough. Hard to say. Okay, A sharp. Ouch, 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 ouch. Almost B. Yep, B. Let's go to C and allow it to stretch a little bit. I don't know if this is good practice either, but instead of bending afterwards, I like to go up just a half note higher and let the string stretch out from there. Because if you've ever retuned a nylon string guitar, you know how long it takes for the strings to, how do you say, settle in? Or set in, maybe. I don't know what the word is. Anyhow, here we go. Now, we only have 2 strings left, one wound and one nylon. So that means I no longer have to check for color codes. I know that it must be the D string and high E string. Okay. We're getting there by the minute. Okay, good. Oh yes, oh yes. A simple knot here to allow the string to lock onto itself. Come on, you can do it. And then we grab our manual string winder. And I will order a drill bit so I can fit this onto my drill. Next time I make a purchase, I will add that, because that's going to save me a lot of time for restringing. But for now, this is all I have, the manual string winder. And it'll do. It's a little bit tedious, however you say, but it works. Come on, give it to me. Oh yes, and soon you'll be hearing that D string ring out. Woohoo! If I don't break something first. Oh. B, C, D. Woohoo! Let's go to D sharp. Oh, it went down to C sharp again. That's what I'm saying. It takes a lot of time. D. And E flat will do. Thank you. Okay, only one string left. If you're still around, this is what we've been waiting for. Tying the strings left like oh. Built-in strings ready to go at. Oh, that would be cool. It sounds good, man. I think I'm a little bit buzzy here. That's okay. Yeah, you can hear a little bit of buzz there on the 3rd fret D string. But I mean, let's check this. Overall, this neck hasn't moved much from what I can tell, which is again good news because there is no truss rod on this guitar. So if the neck should move, you're pretty much screwed as far as I'm concerned. I think it is possible through a very complicated process to adjust the neck angle even if you don't have a truss rod, but you can't do it easily, and I think that costs you a lot of money. So unless your guitar is like a super high-end guitar, it's not something that's practical to do. So whenever the neck moves too much in the neck of such a guitar without truss rod, you might want to, the guitar pretty much becomes useless. But we're not there yet with this guitar. Hopefully that day will never come. And it looks, by the looks of it now, that as soon as I put on this last string, it will actually be playable again. Hallelujah. So last string is coming on here. Oh, and I messed up, so one more time, let's do the no. Yes, your new invention, Tammy, that would be something. You just have to take it from idea to reality. And I can imagine that bit will prove to be a challenge, but hey, nothing is impossible. Okay, final string now. Give it to me. Again, I'm just double checking to make sure that the string locks onto itself as many times as possible. Especially important with the non-wound, I can't pronounce that word, with the non-coated strings, right? Because they tend to be very slippery. E, I like it. Let's go to F. So, we're good. All 6 strings are on. Yeah, and in a normal scenario with an electric guitar, you would of course be worried about bending. However, That's not a concern on the nylon string because you rarely bend. Bending has no effect. So if I can play these frets and they don't buzz too much, that means that's mission accomplished. Now, of course, the hard part is going to be tuning up so that this guitar stays in tune. Nylon strings are hopeless. The first 24 hours, they go out of tune all the time. Awesome! Sayori, always waiting your live. That's awesome! So I'll stretch the strings a little bit. You can see how I'm doing this. Hello there, by the way. Man, string action looks pretty wild, I think, but it's a nylon string. It's supposed to be pretty high there. Yeah. It's always a problem with an acoustic or nylon string guitar. Remember, there's no way really to amplify the signal except for the strings vibrating as much as possible, and then those vibrations being amplified by the resonance box at the guitar. So there needs to be a bit more space for the strings to vibrate. But very soon we'll be able to play this guitar. Can't wait. Just stretching the strings. I did an amazing job. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. We'll see. I think it looks good for now. Very soon I'll be able to strike a first chord on this guitar in a matter of, I think, a minute or so. Okay, are you ready? Sayori, thank you so much for supporting me, man. This is for Sayori. You take a mortal Sayori, watch him give me a gift, and he rocks. Thank you, Sayori. So, so should we grab a pick as well and we can try it? Here we go. 3 picks. You never know which one you need. Okay. Tune, but it does work. And how do these frets feel? Yeah, I mean, I think it looks great. It feels good. I've been, because even with nylon strings, when I had these sharp edges, basically these flat frets as a result of my fret leveling, you don't do this kind of vibrato as much, so it doesn't matter, but it definitely feels better now. So I will probably start fret leveling a lot of my electric guitars as well, or sorry, I will probably start crowning a lot of my electric guitars, which I have applied fret leveling on, now that this guitar feels okay. How many frets does it have? I don't know, I haven't counted, but basically beyond 14 here. So this is 12, 13, 14, 15. Beyond 15 I wouldn't play, but let's count. 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 frets. really gotta stretch those strings out. But I am gonna try to solo and shred a little bit over this guitar now, just to get a feel for those newly crowned frets. Hopefully the frets are not frowning. Wow! This sounds good, I think. I don't know if you can hear this, but this is lovely. You know what we could do? We could actually compare this guitar now with the other nylon string that I fixed with you guys, which is more like a flamenco guitar, and we can see if we hear a difference. Oops. Yeah, I mean, those frets look awesome. I think I did it. Wow. I mean, I can see there's still some flat surface going on here, but as I told you, I was really worried to take away too much, and I didn't do that. So next time I'll probably redo this and do a little bit more fret filing, because they're still a little bit flat occasionally, but it's a million times better, and most importantly, I didn't overdo it. Smells like Teen Spirit. It's like bring your friends, it's fun. So do you guys want to compare with the other nylon string? See how it sounds? So the lead playing, what scale is it? So on the acoustic guitar, I'm a big fan of using the E major scale or the E major pentatonic, and the simple reason is I can quite easily hit that low E string and I get a simple form of accompaniment, or how's the word? You get the impression of having a second guitar or a bassist playing with you. That's all I know from the man who sold the world. Yeah, I love that unplugged performance by Nirvana is epic. Just the final track, the Where Did You Sleep Last Night? That's just a very cool ending of the whole thing. Okay, let's try with the other acoustic or the other nylon string guitar and see how that one sounds. And I'll throw some junk away here. Here we go. This is the other one I worked on with you guys. It's a very old guitar of mine. It's a little bit smashed and broken, but it actually works still. And this one, I've never done fret leveling with it. So frets are round and perfect, but I do suspect tuning will be out. Oh, A. No. Okay, so we can compare the sound now of these two guitars. This is a classical guitar. Actually, it's a flamenco guitar, but difference isn't very big. Actually, I wouldn't be able to describe the difference for you. This does sound a little bit fatter and fuller. It has a larger body, so it makes sense. But also the body has a different shape. Let's compare it. Again, I think this one sounds slightly fuller. Yeah, this one doesn't have as much low end as all. I don't know how much that really translates onto YouTube right now. But this is a much brighter guitar. It does sound pretty cool though. And I can imagine this might actually work a little bit better in a mix. But if I just play it on its own, doesn't sound quite as big as the other one. Oh, here we go. Yeah, well, it's good. I think it did improve a lot with the fret crowning, so I'm gonna do that with other guitars as well now. And thanks to that little extra piece of protection here, I didn't visibly mess up the fretboard anywhere. Again, it's not really a biggie, especially not on like a rosewood or darker colored fretboard. I think you can get rid of those scratches, but better not get them in the first place. With my, oops. I don't know. So. Jump in the fire. I don't remember that one. Oh, something like that, right? That's almost like a blues riff. Come on, jump in the fire! I don't remember it. I think something like that. Oops. It's funny how we're playing all these metal tunes on my luth guitar. It's a little unexpected. Thank you, Tammy. I don't usually play cover songs though. If you've seen anything else on my channel, you know that I'm very much into developing phrases and licks on your own and improvising. But I do understand that for a lot of people these songs have a lot of affection. But I always feel bad because I know I'm not doing these songs any justice. I haven't played them for a long time. Stain. So this guitar is definitely playable again. I like it. Very nice. So unexpected good results, I think, from the fret crowning. Really like that. Very nice. Again, some of the frets here are a little bit flatter, so like the 12th fret, I would need to work some more on that. But overall, this is good progress. Very good progress. Hello me, meet the real me. I like it. I don't know that track though. Sweating Bullets, right? I never learned it. Cool guys, so thanks so much for tuning in. This was a really cool session, I think. I love these sessions where we try something new. I mean, this is a weird kind of guitar and all that, and I haven't done any fret crowning in a session before. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit nervous I would make a fool out of myself and just mess the guitar up. But as you could tell, the guitar is perfectly fine. I think I was careful enough not to overdo it. I should probably have gone a little bit deeper on some places, but I still wanted to be on the safe side, and I think that's what you should do if you ever attempt something like that, in order not to make mistakes that are hard to fix or even irreversible if you really mess things up. But this was lovely, so I hope you guys also found it useful. I want to thank you so much for being my company as I was doing this piece of maintenance work. Like I said, I prefer playing than doing maintenance. But thanks to you guys, maintenance is now fun again. And it wouldn't be fun if I was just sitting here on my own. And I have you guys to thank for that. So I really hope I'll be seeing you again here in these sessions. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in and just being around. That means the world to me. You've been wonderful. And I've been Christopher Dahl. See ya. Cheers. We're out of tune again. Out of tune again. Out of tune. Thank you for subscribing, Tammy. Have a good one. See you guys.